Hello to all my friends out there. Hi, you guys. This video is get the most out of your food storage. Okay, we all know we need to store food. You know, like why do the squirrels store food? You know, it's for when winter coming. But anyway, this is how can we get the most benefit out of our stored food. 10 ways. So I hope everyone had a nice Valentine's Day. I decided to give myself this necklace for Valentine's Day. It's really a nice rose quartz necklace. I was going to sell it, but I thought, no, I think I will give it to myself for Valentine's Day. Okay, number one thing, buy tried and true food. It's best not to store a lot of food you're never going to eat. So, and try to make a little extra food for the next day. So that is what I was doing. So I didn't take it out of the refrigerator. Oh no. Oh, I did. Where is it? Oh no. What did I do with that? Oh, here it is. Okay, so what we have is we have baked beans, and I had these baked beans last night, my old tried and true baked beans, and this time I used ham, and it was pork and beans. I used good brown sugar, mustard, about a tablespoon, and I used half a can of tomato soup. So you can tailor this recipe. This is an old-fashioned recipe. You can tailor this to the food you have on hand. So that is the first thing, and I'm going to make a little meal for myself that I've talked to you guys many times. This is an old tried and true meal. It's pork and beans. It is fruit, usually peaches, and toast, and hot dogs. Okay, so it's cheap. Eat some inexpensive food a few times a week. Okay, so that. Okay, this week, the 11th through the 17th, I'm eating 3 meals out of the stockpile. That's easy to do, especially if you generate a few leftovers. So, okay, one thing that I had in my freezer was 3 pounds of hot dogs. So I just roasted them in the oven. And then I had bacon. And at the same time, I just roasted the bacon. So I'll have a couple pieces of bacon. That will be tasty with my, I'm not having eggs. I'm having pork and beans. Instead of eggs, I'm having hot dogs. So, you know, I'm just switching my, I'm switching my protein. And in my pork and beans, I had stockpiled, this is good cold too. I had stockpiled ham, so that's awesome. So then, you know, I have told you guys about my homemade bread. Here it is. So here it is. So what I want to do is I want on every meal to follow this Oslo Diet. I want to make sure the elements of the Oslo Diet are in all of my meals. So what happened was a doctor, Dr. Oslo, a Norwegian doctor, devised the Oslo Diet for the children so they wouldn't suffer malnutrition. The 1920s. Bread, butter, check, check. So I made butter this week, and the rest of it is in the freezer. So I will just use it up. Here it is. This is going to come in handy. So, bread, butter, cheese, check. Here's the cheese. Sliced cheese, I bought a lot. Milk, check. that's in the, what I do is I mix up 4 cups of milk, and then, you know, that's enough for 2 days, so I have milk. Okay, vegetable, check. I'm gonna, here's a little salad I made with lettuce, with carrots, and with celery. And so these are good vegetables because they're gonna last the whole week. Next week I'm gonna try to get maybe cabbage or green peppers. Anyway, 3 different vegetables. Or fruit, check. And what I made was I made applesauce, and the way I made it this time was I baked it in the oven. Here it is. It's just apples, cinnamon, sugar, and then I put water, and I dotted it with my homemade butter. Okay, so let me give you a shot of the Oslo Diet here in case you didn't see the video. So I know as long as I have this in my diet, I'm probably not going to get malnutrition or any of that kind of stuff. And this is enough. This is a half a batch of the homemade bread I make. Here it is. And this is going to taste very tasty with my pork and bean dinner here. So this is going to figure in with the rest of my tips. Okay, so I have hot dogs, I have bacon, I have pork and beans. You could make eggs if you don't want to make pork or any meat. You could make sausages. That'd be good. And then the way I made this homemade butter, if you saw the video, is I just put heavy cream in the blender, and I blended it until the cream solidified into butter. And I also this time ended up with quite a bit of sour cream. So let's get some jam. If there's some kind of citrus shortage and we have stockpiled marmalade, we're going to be so happy about that. And then I want to tear up a little bit of cheese on my. So you might be thinking, I don't have all that stuff in my house yet. You're going to, because you're going to stockpile a little bit of it at a time. Okay, so I have 1 piece of cheese. I can make a cheese sandwich, you know, for dinner too. That would be good on my homemade bread. I could melt it. So I'll have a little cheese. Once you get used to this, you know, okay, I need about 3 vegetables. And then these are some, I don't know if you've ever tried these. It might not sound good to you. Pickled okra. It could be little pickles or it could be homemade pickles. Okay, so there is that. Let me move this out of the way so that I don't get my sleeves in it. Okay, no. Here it is. We're not going to be starving. Okay, now I also stockpiled a cherry pie because it's a holiday. I will eat it later, maybe tomorrow. And then I have my applesauce. And so what I want to make is I bought a vanilla yogurt. And I will just make it up and then I will put it. There was this yogurt that I dearly loved. It was called Spiced Apple. They don't make it anymore, the kind I used to love. I used to get that one almost every single time. So I will just put my yogurt in my little jar. I've been saving all of my jars, and we'll get into that in a minute. And then I will put some of my homemade applesauce on top of here. And I saved all the juice as well. So, you know, tomorrow at some point, I will eat this. And then I will freeze the rest of the applesauce, and I will make some applesauce bread. I think I like it better. I didn't take my tea out. I'm so mad. Don't see this. Okay, so this is some really good English breakfast tea, special occasion. And since it's a special occasion, I think I will have a little sugar in my tea. Because, you know, it's Valentine's. I hope everybody, you know, this is also a demonstration on how you don't need that much money. This is some kind of strange brand of sugar. It's not bad. I bought a lot. So, I have some tasty tea. Buy the tried and true food. Try to make a little extra the next day. Eat some inexpensive food. One of the followers said they ate inexpensive food all week and then better food on the weekends. I thought that was an awesome idea. Okay, so another way you can do it is like what I used to do is I would have cheap food one day and, well, better food and then cheap food. So on Sunday I would make a roast, and on Monday I usually had spaghetti. I was used to that. We had it for years. Okay, next tip is freeze every scrap. What I do is I just eat it. There's no need to freeze it. I eat it. Okay, the bread is 1 1/4 cup water. So I just put it in the microwave and I add 2 tablespoons sugar, and I take it out after 1 minute and I let it cool down, and then to like a warm bath, I put the yeast in and I let that rise. Then I melt 2 tablespoons of butter, but this time I use twice as much butter because I'm trying to make buttery everything. Because if you have buttery bread, this bread is pretty good. If you have buttery bread and you don't have any butter, you know, you're going to be fine. Then I mix 3 1/4 cup flour and 3/4 teaspoon salt. This time I didn't add a 1/4 cup potatoes, but I could have. I could have added 1/4 cup raisins. I mix all the dry ingredients together, and then I pour the yeast and the butter in a well. You know, I make a little well and I stir it around, and it stirs up almost into a perfect dough. Then I just knead it one time and I bake at 350. And I mentioned to you guys many times that it took me a long time to find this recipe. And it never fails. That's why I like it. And there's nothing expensive in it. It's everything you could stockpile easily. Also, when you stir your tea, it's 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I learned that. I had never had a tea party. We didn't drink tea. And I had never had a tea party until I retired. And I went to the library. That was another one of my big thrills. And I was coming out and somebody on Instagram had a tea party. So I used to sell jewelry to a metaphysical bookstore, and so they had a reading. So they had this very beautiful tea party set up, so I kind of had an idea, and that started it. If you're a hater of tea, just drink decaf tea. Okay, try to make homemade things as much as possible, like homemade bread, homemade butter, homemade granola, homemade cookies, and peanut butter. When you get used to eating the stuff homemade, it's cheaper. You're not going to run out of bread. You're not going to run out of peanut butter because you're going to stockpile peanuts. Okay, now another thing that I've been doing this week is eat your stored food and then eat some raw food like the salad. Or like I made homemade the applesauce. Or like the baked beans came out of the stockpile and the ham came out of the freezer. I just eat this cold. So what I do is I just put the rest, I have this one already in a bowl, and I just put the rest of the food in there, and then I eat it tomorrow. Okay, so you're going to eat your stockpile down. So what you're going to say for dinner is rice, beans, potatoes, soup, and crackers, for a few examples. So tonight it was beans. Grow indoor food, or in like a balcony or a windowsill. So I want to show you. Okay, here is, I harvested this mint plant that popped up. This is my Russian, it was a teacup end plate. I chipped the plate and I wrecked the cup. So this is like a perfect little thing for my mint plant. And I harvested these, I didn't know what I was doing, and I thought I would dry, I had these in the backyard and they disappeared. So I saw this online. I think I see a tomato worm in there. But anyway, as you can see, a few seeds have been harvested on the bottom. They said leave it 10 days. Quite a few seeds. If I could get 5 or 6 tomato plants, that would be quite a bit, because each one of those tomato plants would give me some seeds. I also have soy this year. Okay, I want to mention my floral design. I wish I had started this when I was young. I am going to teach the baby so she can make me some little bouquets. I saw something so cute. It was flowers for sale, and it looked like coffee cans, but this is a powdered milk container, and I had a tablecloth from Christmas, and I'm going to save it to wrap gifts in next year, so I could put a flower arrangement in there. I didn't have any ribbons or anything yet, and I don't have a very big selection of flowers, but since my skills are minimal, I just decorate them over, and I can see a big improvement. And then save all these little things to make little flower arrangements in. I'm saving the little one for the baby. She does the cutest art, you guys, and she's a baby. Okay, so try to grow some food, and just by trying, you know, I have some plants out there, and I'm going to put them all in pots, and we'll see what happens. Okay, 7, pickle food, so you won't run out of veggies. These could be pickles. They could be homemade pickles, are really easy to make, refrigerator ones. Jam, so you won't run out of fruit. You can also make homemade jam, so easy if you have canned fruit. So what I do is I can the fruit that I would make into jam, like pears, like peaches. So you just drain your fruit, put it in a pan with a little, or you could do it like I did the apples. You just cover it with water, put cinnamon and sugar, and just bake it down. And then just chop it up, and you have jam. And then one of the most important things is to stockpile dry fruit. So you can make raisin bread, so you can put raisins in your granola, banana chips, anything you like. Okay, and then think about food storage, food you're likely to run out of, like tuna. Tuna is really good if you buy the good tuna. Evaporated milk and tomatoes. Also, number 9, if there is no meat, we have stored dairy in some form, like cheese, and nuts, like peanut butter. And then the last tip is, we have our stockpile, or we have a bunch of food in our, not even a bunch of food, any food that's edible in our cupboards, and we just go for one day. Don't think about You know, don't think about a year ago, I'm going to eat out of my stockpile. No, that's dismal. Just go, for today, do I have something that I could conjure up dinner that wouldn't be too disagreeable? Like, you know, anything. Okay, so yesterday I had a half a can of chili with some small pieces of cheese, some crackers and peanut butter and some banana chips. So that was very close to the Oslo diet, which was, so when you get used to this, also vitamins are very important, you know, you can buy them at the Dollar Tree. The Oslo is bread, so we had crackers and cheese, bread and butter with cheese. Instead of butter, we had chili, small pieces of cheese, crackers, and peanut butter. And then we had milk, wherever it went. And we had a fruit or a vegetable, or you can have some pickles and some jam, whatever you happen to have around. Here's my pork and beans. Pork and beans, onions, ham, garlic, half a can of tomato soup, and mustard. Okay, everybody, happy Valentine's Day, belated, and God bless you all.